This is our embezzlement case. It's about a man named Ronald Barnes who embezzled about $1 million from his company. And we are the embezzlers. I'm Lauren Uishi.
Oh, I'm Yaxin Tao.
I'm Han Qinling.
I'm Alan Turner.
Oliver Scott.
Okay. So what happened was that a guy named Ronald Barnes, who is now 55 years old, he was hired by the company named Summit Gas Resources back in January of 2004. And later on, he became the CFO of the company in 2007. During the 9 years that he was employed, which is during 2004 and 2012, he was stealing money from the company. So the total to around $1 million, and that's the amount that he is suspected to be stealing from the company. And but later on in 2012, the Summit officials finally discovered about the embezzlement. And so at first in 2014, he was actually pleading out not guilty in April. But later on in 2015, which is this year, I believe it's the beginning of this year, like January, he was again charged with 5 counts of felony fraud and 2 counts of felony larceny for taking funds from the company's petty cash account. And later, the court sentenced him to receive 6 to 10 years in prison for 1 count of obtaining property under false pretenses. And later on, he's sentenced again with 8 to 10 years of each of the rest. Because total he has 7 charges, and those are 8 to 10 years for each of the 6 that was left. But later on, those were suspended later. However, instead, that he was given 8 to 10 years of supervised probation.
How did he do it? He created a lot of fake companies, and he would present to the CEO that he had, or that the company he worked for owed the other company money. So whenever the CEO would write the check, he would come in and intercept the check and just take it for himself. And he misused the existing accounts as well. And he also submitted false documents so he could get the money from his CEO. And basically he was just in charge of way too many duties and took advantage of it. So.
About the internal control he violated. First, establishment of responsibility. As we all know, the control is most effective when only one person is responsible for a given task. And the establishment of responsibility required limited access to only to authorized personnel, and then identifying the personnel. In this case, the company did not adequately restrict the responsibility for authorizing and sending check payment transaction. Mr. Barnes should not have been authorized to create the check payment to those fake companies. Thanks. About the segregation of duties. The company did not properly segregate the duties about segregate the record keeping and from the fiscal control. Mr. Barnes had the fiscal control about the checks, which is essentially most important control of the cash. So and also he had the record keeping, which because he was control of the company's accounting software. Next. About the documentation procedure. Mr. Brown, and the documents are very important because it's the evidence. It provides evidence that transactions and events have occurred. So, in this case, the company CEO should not just sign the checks without verification the payments.
All right. Physical controls. The CEO who was signing the checks should have verified the accounts and should have had a better log system for the checks, like maybe have a log of each one that went out and make sure that they were taken and logged as they were put into, you know, the mailbox or wherever they needed to go. That way. Next. All right, independent internal verification. Obviously, if there was any verification, he would have been caught a lot earlier than he was. There should have been a periodic check on the documents and the ledgers or some reason to track everything to make sure that it was legit. And another thing is the bank statement should have been reconciled monthly. Human resource controls. Obviously, nobody else was taking over his part when he did something like go on vacation, or there was no way that the duties were rotated. So that gave him more of a chance to continue what he was doing and to do it. Next. Oh, this is me too. This is how it could have been prevented. The first thing is the segregation of duties. He obviously had too many things to do. Like, he was the vice president, he was the CFO, he was in charge of setting up the accounting department. With all these jobs, obviously, I mean, a lot of people would have, well, could have been able to do exactly what he did. And because of it, that's
next. All right, so physical controls. So basically, he had too much access to like financial assets and things like that. Checks should have been held under lock and key so the CEO could have a better grasp on what was going on with those. Establishment of responsibility. He was given too many jobs. They should have just given him one job. Basically, he had the ability to do whatever he wanted because he controlled the entire accounting department, basically. Independent internal verification. Yeah, they should have done more regular audits. That way, the employees know that the company is high on checking for things like embezzlement and fraud. And then human resource controls, they should have had him go on mandatory vacations, had people rotate through his department. That way they could figure out if he was doing his job right or not. And that's it.
we have no final slide.
Okay, thank you.